Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back yet again to another great episode of Inside the Huddle. I'm your host, Lucas Hill. Guys, the last 24 hours have been unreal. You guys have been awesome. We have had unbelievable numbers that we've gotten on a couple of reels that we put out on Instagram, on X, as well as on TikTok. Guys, the numbers are astounding to me. And it goes to you guys and what your support has been. Just on Instagram and X alone, we have accumulated 27,000 views. And just over a total of 20, and to go along with over 1,000 likes on Instagram and X alone. I haven't even mentioned TikTok because I literally just opened it up. I have 99 plus new notifications, which is insane. So on our 3 videos alone, with the one I did with Baron Sorrell, the one I did with Kyle Kennard, and the one I did with TJ Sanders, all 3 of those videos combined went for over 2,300 views, which honestly isn't bad. But, you know, it truly was amazing to see that. Looking at what we had with the Kyle Kennard video, guys, a lot of you interacted throughout these videos, and it was awesome getting to see all this. A lot of love, a lot of support from you guys. And I cannot just say thank you from the bottom of my heart for such. You guys are amazing. You guys are truly the biggest reason why I still am doing this, just to continue doing what I love, which is talking college ball, talking all around on the end when it comes to ball in general, man. And it's just been so awesome to see the continued growth and just overall capability of what we've been able to do. So once again, guys, thank you for tuning in. If you are wanting to be a part of this, make sure that you are hopping in with the link down below. A lot to talk about as we get on today. We got to talk day 2 of the Senior Bowl. Got a lot going on from there. Got to talk a lot about who stood out during day 2 of the Senior Bowl. Also got to talk about some big coaching changes around college football. Boy, it's going to be a lot when we get into this one, man. And it's a lot to break down. We are excited that you guys tag alongside with us as we get started here. So overall today was amazing, but let's just go ahead and let's talk about day 2 of the Senior Bowl. So let's talk about who won day 2. Dude, 2 of the top pass rushers just wreaked havoc. Shamar Stewart went off today and just had an excellent day. Just was able to develop more as a pass rusher. Dude really popped off today. He's extremely fluid with his hands, really showed out. Another guy that you need to look out for is the All-American from Georgia, Small Mondon. Small Mondon is an excellent linebacker. And the field north and south is able to just really take advantage of the opportunities that he has whenever he gets those little crevices, whenever he's coming downhill into the A or B gap. And his ability to read back and to just read the whole offense is just astounding to me. And it showed a lot during team. His coverage wise, he improved on it from yesterday. Pass rush against a running back, dude, he was just a bowling ball. So he's definitely helped himself with his pedigree as well as his ability to really take charge on third down. And it's just been really impressive. Here's the thing. Let's talk about some more. Shamar Stewart is probably the most talented edge rusher in the nation to me. He doesn't have much sack production. You know, his rush potential is, although on Wednesday, dude, he popped off in one-on-ones. It was impressive seeing with what he was able to do. I mean, it's not just what he does in speed to power situations on the interior. It's what he does when he's on the edge. Because a lot of times whenever you saw him at Texas A&M, they play a 3-down set. And you never really got to see his ability to rush the passer. He was more of a 3-tech guy and just was never really able to showcase his edge capability. Meanwhile, from what he's doing so far, it's impressive to see what he's been able to do. I mean, dude, bull rush-wise, impressive. When you look at his dip and rip, it was awesome. Just seeing his capability as a defensive lineman. It isn't just him being an interior defensive tackle. I'm talking about a lineman. I'm talking about a complete lineman. I mean, it's impressive just seeing this. I mean, it was truly, you know, what you were supposed to expect from this. And what was even better was just how physical he was at the point of attack. And there's more that's about to come. And just his physical presence is going to help him a lot when it comes to NFL draft time and his abilities and what he's capable of at the next level. So let's continue on. Jonas Saviena was a brick wall today during Pass Pro. Dude was amazing. One of the top talents, unfortunately, exited the Senior Bowl. So that was Armand Membu, which I talked with Cole Thompson last week, and I was like, dude, I'm excited to see him. You know, he's been battling an illness. He decided to head home and will not be there for the remainder of the week, which sucks. You know, I was really, really impressed. And I was so excited. Your battle of the day, Emory Jones going up against Baron Sorrell. Highlight of the American team practice. Dude, it was fun. Emory Jones went off for it. Baron Sorrell went to St. James out here in New Orleans. And EJ went out to Catholic High, which is in Baton Rouge. So they're literally not that far apart. So it was 2 good reps. So this is what Emory said after he pulled me down, but I didn't fall. He thought I was down for the count, but I came right back up and was still on him. Everyone knows that if I'm moving the quarterback off the spot, and the quarterback would have more to move right there, right? You want to run the rep clean, but a lot of people don't see that. And dude, it was fun just getting to see that. I mean, there's a reason why he's been able, both of those guys, competitive-wise, it's a big reason why they're going to be some of the top prospects in this year's draft. And it's impressive to see what you have. It was impressive. The quarterback position has been really interesting. Here's the thing. After Will Howard dropped out, after Ohio State won the national title, it kind of sucked because you got, all right, well, who are you going to get? Well, why not go get lawyer quarterback Taylor Elgersma from Canada? You know, it's the first time he's played 11-on-11 football for about 3 weeks. So they play with 12 players on the field for each team. They play 3 downs instead of 4 in a 110-yard field. So remember, we're talking CFL-type rules. Elgers was trying to be the first Canadian NFL quarterback in 22 years, but so far didn't do terrible. So what's crazy is that because our good friend Larry from QB Country, who runs a lot of media out in the Birmingham area, he was working with one of their guys for one of the bowls. And get this, he was invited through that. And the one who reached out to Jim Nagy was this. Ben started hitting me up, I want to say in October, and he was like, I know this seems like a stretch for the Senior Bowl, but we got this guy up in Canada who talked about this on the 3 Down Nation podcast. He's big, he's strong, he's got a big arm. I'd love to get more eyes on him. So obviously it was tough trying to get him there. But I think what was so impressive was just the ability to get them. One of the quarterbacks who was slated to go dropped out. As soon as Will Howard dropped, boom, that was his opportunity, and he got that. So far, has looked good. 6'4", 216-pound prospect. Just literally came in yesterday, but won the Heisman Trophy of Canada. Got off to a bumpy start yesterday, but looks a lot more comfortable. Did really, really well. I mean, they said his foot speed was better. I think he was losing long in his drops as well as being wide in his base. Just thinking about focusing on getting the ball out and timing and speeding up his feet. He played hockey most of his life, started playing football in the 10th grade. He was in overnight snow removal whenever he was in college, and after that, he's turned his attention to the NFL. So really impressive showing today. I think that the highlight of the day was obviously this one right here, which to me, I think is going to have a lot of people just saying, all right, bye-bye, we're going. A lot of defensive linemen and a lot of other dudes that are just going to be hitting the trails and saying goodbye for now. Because let's just be honest, this is over with. Larry Rudolph, by the way, is our good friend with Quarterback Country Media. He does a great job with all that. Larry is a friend. We love working with Larry. We actually met back during the 68 Ventures Bowl, but this is the shot he took. By the way, over 1 million views between X and Instagram with this one. So there's Mike Green. This is why he was the FBS's nation's leader in sacks. Bye-bye. If that man is not a first-round pick, I don't know what the hell you're doing. This is insane. And it truly was unbelievable. And it was really an unbelievable showing that we saw from him. Mike Green, to me, is a first-round draft pick who went completely unnoticed during the draft or during the regular season. And it's a shame he didn't. It's a shame that he was not noticed as much, despite being the FBS's leader in sacks. Not a whole lot of people know him. They know him now. They sure as hell know him now. And if you don't know who Mike Green is, you're going to be in for a long ride, and you're going to be in for one. Mike Green's ability in pass rush situations is incredible. He's only going to get better from here. We're in for a historic day 3. I'm excited for what we're going to see. Jaden Higgins, by the way, don't mess with him. The guy is just too good of a route runner. The guy is just incredible when it comes to this, and he is only going to get better. He is only going to get better in his route running. I think he is probably one of the best receivers in this year's draft, which, by the way, next week we'll be starting our picks for the NFL draft. Once we get past the Super Bowl, we'll do our NFL draft projections. We'll get our combines. We'll see if we can go to a couple of pro days, by the way. See if we can go around college football, go get some pro days in. Maybe go to a couple of HBCUs, go to a couple of FCSs. I know Southeastern Louisiana University will be doing theirs. Talk to a couple prospects from there. Really, really, really intrigued and really, really excited to get to that point, guys. And it's going to be a lot of fun. I guarantee you. You're going to have a lot of fun during this broadcast. But again, guys, as soon as I said it, we're about to hit 15,000 subscribers, 15,000 views on X alone. But it's truly been a heck of a road. But let's continue on. The quarterback room has been underwhelming, to say the least. It was truly one where this has been a pretty inconsistent showing as of now. And look, I don't really know what we'll get once we get to that point. Once we get to this point of pass, will we finally see some improvement? I don't see a quarterback really elevating themselves above one another, or whatever a better way to say it is. I just don't see one quarterback separating themselves over another. I just don't. Look, the problem with the quarterback room, it's been not great. Dylan Gabriel has shown flashes. Riley Leonard has shown flashes as well. Tyler Shaw, who's had his moments. But I don't know, man. Look, Jalen hasn't looked good. All right? Jalen Milroe just has simply not looked good over the course of the 2 days. He's been inconsistent throwing the football. He's had a lot of checkdowns. He has had a lot of checkdowns, and it is concerning. But when are you going to let them rip the football down the field? When are you going to finally have that? Why? When are we going to finally see just the overall capability of what Jalen Milroe can be, you know? But I don't know, man. It's still a lot that we need to get it settled. Because this is insane with what we're seeing with the quarterback room. It's just bad. Because right now, there's no quarterback that's separating themselves from one another. There's just not. And if you're wanting to do that, it's hard to pick out the third quarterback in this list. On some days, you could say that Dylan Gabriel is. On other days, you could probably say that Jackson Dart is. Sometimes Tyler Shaw. Sometimes Seth Hennigan, which I doubt he will. But you have to find some consistency, dude. Dylan Gabriel's probably going to be your best shot. Probably going to be quarterback 3. Make no mistake about it. Jalen Milroe's probably going to fall. It's almost mind-boggling to me that we're saying this. Because back in September, after the Georgia game, I said that Jalen Milroe won the Heisman Trophy. I was wrong. Completely wrong. I was completely wrong. Look, I was just completely wrong for what I said. And I'll put that there. So, I don't know if we're going to see the same Jalen Milroe. So far from what we got, look, unfortunately, Jalen Milroe is getting to that point. Jalen Milroe is getting to the point where it's not looking good for him right now. It just hasn't been the season that you've been expecting. It wasn't the season he expected in the preseason. It hasn't been the Senior Bowl he has put up. It just hasn't. And if you want to say otherwise, I don't know, man. I just don't know. But if you want to compare apples to oranges, that's what you're getting with Jalen Milroe. Because you're comparing a guy that really hasn't shown much. That on paper looks amazing. That on paper looks really delicious. And then when you actually get it, it's like, why can't we be consistent in the game? Because we've seen Jalen Milroe to speak. We've seen Jalen Milroe against that same Georgia defense. We saw him put over 500 yards of offense against Georgia. We've also seen him at his worst against Oklahoma, against Tennessee, against Michigan. We've seen all of that. What version of Jalen Milroe are you going to get? Size and athleticism, sure. He has that. But the problem with Jalen Milroe is that he's just inconsistent. And sure, it could have something to do with what the offense did last year. And sure, you were in an offensive system that didn't particularly benefit you. What are you going to do to change that? Because I have a hard time believing Mike Tomlin can seriously look at Jalen Milroe and say, we can draft him and we can develop him. Who do you have in your quarterback room now? You've got Russell Wilson and you got Justin Fields. So you're telling me that you're willing to give up whatever a draft that you're willing to spend that much money to go get a quarterback. It would be ridiculous. It just doesn't make any sense. And it's embarrassing to see that. So he's got a 1-year deal. What did he do this year? He didn't do terrible. 2,400 yards, 16-5 touchdown to interception ratio. It's really been a rough showing, but look, you just need consistency. Can you get that from a guy like what you have with Jalen Milroe? Because Russell Wilson at this point is entering the twilight of his career. But do you want to give him up and give Justin Fields an opportunity? Because he was doing great. 65% completion rating. He was on his way to his best season ever as a pro. Do you want to give up on Justin Fields, who's, by the way, still in the prime? He's 25 years old. He'll be 26 in March. Do you want to give up on him? Do you want to really waste a draft pick on a Jalen Milroe so he can what? Compete? What you think? You're going to develop him? They don't have the personnel. They don't. And if you don't like it, then I don't know what to tell you. I just don't. So, at the end of the day, this is what you got with Jalen Milroe. This is what you got in here. I don't know if Jalen Milroe is a first-round draft pick. The only two quarterbacks that need to get drafted in the first round are Shedeur Sanders and Cam Ward. So it is what it is, man. I mean, there's a lot of talent in this draft. But I'll tell you this. Mike Green improved his draft stock. Kyle Kennard is definitely going to be a first-round pick. But yeah, man, that's what you get with guys like this. It sucks that Armand Membu could not compete. It sucks that he had to deal with the problems with his nose and stuff, his sickness. But if you are the Pittsburgh Steelers, you need to answer a quarterback. And I think Justin Fields is going to be the guy. I really do. If you can get a guy like that, if you could pair him with another receiver or something like that, I think there's a good opportunity. You could potentially see yourself getting a guy like that, and it'd be a pretty good steal. All right, let's go on to some coaching searches. So Penn State just hired defensive coordinator Jim Knowles. Okay. It's a huge hire. Make no mistake about it. It's an absolutely huge hire. But yeah, man, it's been one of those times where, look, you are coming off of a season where you finally get the monkey off your back if you are if you're James Franklin. You finally got it. You finally got that coveted trophy. You finally got that CFP you've been begging for. You finally did it. So now what? What I'm concerned with is that you got arguably the best defensive coordinator in college football. But you also have had other defensive coordinators that have come through, a la what happened last week, or what happened a couple years ago. You brought in Tom Allen. Does amazing things for you. You know? I mean, really, really good defensive coordinator. Who else? Well, you had another guy that was an absolute dog as a defensive coordinator. Okay? You just lost Manny Diaz, who's now at Duke, who I think was still, unsurprisingly, just kind of unfairly treated, I would say. But anyways, you've had Tim Banks, who came through a couple of years ago. You know, and it certainly hasn't been what you've expected. You've had all of this talent come through, and yet you haven't done anything with it. You haven't gotten past. Yeah, you're content with what you got with 10-win seasons and such. But there comes to a point where we got to stop making excuses about James Franklin. We got to hold him accountable. We got to say, hey, we're tired of being a 10-win season and being in the CFP or being a college football playoff bowl player and maybe winning one, or we'll lose one. But especially now with 12-team, the national championship is definitely having to be in the picture now. And if it isn't, I don't know what you're doing. Because, look, this is quite a time to be a college football fan with being in just being around the game and seeing where it is at the moment. You know, there's a lot that needs to get done, especially if you're Penn State. You've got your core three returning. Receiver-wise, you've looked good. You've got a guy from USC that's coming in. You've got a couple of other dudes that'll be good. But I don't know what else we need to expect. Who else needs to come in for this Penn State squad? Because we're so sick and tired of being sick and tired of Penn State fans saying, oh, well, we got this and we got that. Oh, but we still haven't been able to get over the edge. We still haven't been able to get over the top and finally reach a national championship. If Penn State does not reach a national championship this upcoming year, in 2025, we have finally found out the ceiling of where James Franklin's teams will be for the next several years. In fact, not even for the next several years, maybe for a while, until you finally claim a national championship, or if James Franklin leaves. I hope that isn't the case, but all likelihood, that is where we're headed. Whether you like it or not, that's the truth around college football. Because Penn State historically has been known for winning, all the way back into the Joe Pa era. You have to get to a point where you're tired of being just another player in the CFP. That's great and all, but you want more. You're tired of this. You want more to happen. And so you're going to go out and you're going to go get dudes in the portal. You're going to adjust and try to be a regular. Because what we're seeing right now is ridiculous. And there has to be more with what this team is going to get at the end of the day. But if they don't make a national title in 2025, we have found out their ceiling. They won't be able to ever get over the hump. They won't be able to get after the Ohio State hump. They'll always be a quarterfinal or semifinal player, and then they won't get anywhere past that. Looking at their schedule, it's favorable. You play Nevada. Look at your non-conference schedule. It's a joke. Nevada, FIU, Villanova. You get Oregon at home. You go to Ohio State, and you play Indiana at home. So that's really your only big challenges that you have this year. So what else do you have? Really nothing. You really have nothing, to be honest with you. So what else do you need to look for? And what else do you need to get to whenever we're at this position? If you can't get over the hump, dude, I mean, defensively, I mean, you got one of the best minds. You've got an edge rusher that's a dog. What else do you need? You got to get over this hump at some point. It has to happen. If this year isn't it, then we know what to expect every year from Penn State. And we can't stop with these asinine expectations. All right. Notre Dame, you just lost out going to Cincinnati Bengals. Why not go out and get another dude? Chris Ash will be the new defensive coordinator there. Ash was the former Ohio State defensive coordinator for a while, as well as being the DC over at Wisconsin, et cetera, and for a long time was safeties, DBs, and a scout with the Jacksonville Jaguars, and now is back in the college ranks for the first time since 2020, whenever he was at Texas as the defensive coordinator. So, look, we'll just have to look. I'm really excited for what to expect from Chris Ash. I think he's got a great resume with him. You know, high-end results. The guy's been around the college game for 24 years. Still fairly young at 51 years old to be around the college game. You know, obviously about the expectations that you're going to seek for him, but honestly, Texas will be just fine. Or Notre Dame will be just fine with him. I think it's an ask if you're going to expect them to be a national title contender because of how their defense performs. You're going to lose a lot, especially in that linebacking core. It's going to be a struggle for you. So I wouldn't really hold your defense to a high standard, but you get a veteran guy in Chris Ash that can really plug and play. And he's really, really efficient, especially with his DB play. When you're talking about Drake, but I mean, when you look at what you get, you bring back Drake Bowen. The DBs look really good with Aiden Schuler and Leonard Moore. I mean, not to mention with what you get to bring in with Marcus Freeman. I do think, though, Marcus Freeman will still be pretty much involved with defensive play calling. It wouldn't surprise me. So we'll just have to see from then on. Let's continue on. Ohio State, right? Virginia Tech actually will be hiring Sam Seifsk. He's the Arizona Cardinals linebacker coach to be their new defensive coordinator. Brent Pry will be going outside the box. You know, it's significant NFL experiences. You're talking about a guy that's been around for a while. I mean, has been in the NFL for quite a bit. Trying to look at where his time has been. So he started off overall as a GA under Dave Aranda. and then went on to be the defensive coordinator right afterwards after being a GA at Wisconsin Platteville. Defense allowed just 18.9 points a game in 2017, and then goes on to be the Wofford Terriers defensive coordinator for a few years, and then finally got himself, after 2021, a couple of head coaching gigs or a couple of coaching gigs in the NFL, and then this is his first time being in the Division I area as a P4 defensive coordinator. So it's a big one. So this is what Price said about him in a news release. People across the country couldn't stop praising Sam's knowledge of the game and his abilities as a coach. As I got to know him, I couldn't agree more. I'm thrilled to have Sam join our program. He's worked under some of the best minds in the game. When you talk about, he's one of the most innovative coaches in the NFL under defensive coordinator Nick Rallis. Look, I've been knowing about Nick Rallis for a while and his ability to coach the defense. Dude, Arizona is a big reason why they're not going under. And look, Arizona has been a really, really inconsistent team. Let's just be honest. But you're talking about guys that you got like Sean Murphy Bunting that had a solid year, Bilal Nichols, Justin Jones. You talk about Mac Wilson, guys like that you got to join your team. And it really was. It was huge. You extend Zaven Collins. But no, you're impressed with what you have in store, and I think that it's only a matter of time before we see Arizona finally reach that ceiling, get over the hump, and I think their offense took a big step from what he did in his first year there, and they're just going to get better. They have to be, and I think Jonathan Gannon and who he's worked under has been truly remarkable. And I think that Sam Skeefs is going to continue to develop as a defensive coordinator, learn from under Bret, who we all know, mentioned earlier as the DC at Penn State, and what more to look forward to. Bret Bielema versus Jim Harbaugh. I want to talk about this because this was kind of crazy. So Bret Bielema called out Jim Harbaugh on Instagram. So this is what people say about this one. So Brad Briggs talked to him a little bit about it, who was at the Senior Bowl today. Said he had a nice little chat with Bielema and stopped during the middle of a recruiting trip to see Pat Bryant. He's going to let his Twitter/X comments stand and when asked about the Michigan and Harbaugh matter. So that's really all you need to know about that. But here's all of what he said on his X account. And I think it was really, really interesting that he said this. And I don't really know why he would, but hey, I mean, it is what it is. All right. So here's the original video, by the way, from Justin Spiro.
Approach, especially when you're good, because you don't want people to come back and say, oh, they're winning because they're cheating. We want to be above approaching and everything. Do everything by the rules. Because if you don't, if you cheat to win, then you've already lost.
So there's that, which is kind of ironic a little bit. But this came from the Spiro Avenue show, or Justin Spiro, who's around the Detroit area and is a Michigan guy. Okay, cool. Bret Bielema reposts this and does a quote tweet and says the following. Really, why did you leave? Was looking forward to playing, but understand why you ran to the NFL. See you in the future and can't wait. Hashtag FamILLE. Hashtag ILL. All right, there's a lot to unpack here. There truly is. But, dude, holy cow. I mean, look. What the hell? What was the deal with that one? But is he right? But I truly don't. I'm going to stand by Jim Harbaugh by this. They weren't cheating. They really weren't, much as what people want to say. Opponents just did not adjust. I watched the documentary. How did you cheat with a sign stealing shit? But you know what? If he did, he did. It's whatever. All you got to do is adjust. He's just going there just to watch games. And guess what? He got away with it for as much as possible, and then all of a sudden somebody tipped him off. We don't know who it is still. We don't know. And so we'll see what come. I don't think anything is going to come out of this. This is just another Twitter beef that's going to be over with by the time we get into tomorrow. But once again, this just doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense. And it just seems so childish that this is a thing. But honestly, not really concerned. Not really concerned one bit about this. Guys, that's going to go ahead and end it for us here as we hit the 11 o'clock hour. I got to get some sleep. Had 25 of you show up in here today. Thank you all again for the support, for the love, and for all of us here at Inside the Huddle.